Alright, gentlemen. Lean in for Asacon, because what I'm about to share with you is the real truth about why younger women get pulled toward older men. Not the Instagram filtered fantasy, not the cliche sugar daddy stereotype, but the deep psychological reality that most men never truly understand. And trust me, once you hear this, you're going to see your age as one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal, instead of something to hide or feel insecure about. The red lipstick is back, and yes, it's sheer to stay. It's kind of my signature now. But more importantly, the largest group of men subscribe to my channel are between the ages of 40 and 55. So naturally, I felt I owed it to you to share my honest perspective as a woman in my late 30s who's always been drawn to older men about exactly why that attraction happens, and more importantly, how you can capitalize on it in a way that feels authentic, powerful, and well, very, very masculine. If you're new here, I'm Amelia, and this is Infinity Wisdom. Hit that like button if you're ready to embrace your age with confidence and turn it into an advantage. If most men never even think about assing, here's something you need to understand right away. An older man is only attractive to a younger woman when he matches her fantasy. Now, when I say fantasy, I'm not talking about unrealistic movie scenes or wild 50 Shades scenarios. I'm talking about the image younger women actually carry in their minds when they think of an older man. More confident, more assertive, more grounded than men their own age. And the key here, if y'all want her to be drawn to you, you have to embody that image instead, of accidentally sabotaging it. The first thing that makes an older man attractive to a younger woman is the fact that he's not pretending to be a younger man. We've all seen the guys who try. They'll overcompensate by using every trending slang word, dressing like a 22-year-old TikToker, trying to prove they'll know every single pop culture reference. And honestly, it comes across the same way it does when that one high school teacher tries way too hard to be the cool teacher. It's awkward, it's forced, and instead of making you seem young, it makes you seem like you're trying. Answering is never sexy. Quick question for you, and be honest. Have you ever caught yourself trying to fit in with younger crowds by pretending to be into things Sue actually couldn't care less about? Drop me a yes in the comments if you've been there. Almost every man over 40 has done it at some point. Here's why this is such a turnoff for younger women. If she wanted a guy her own age who spoke like her, dressed like her, and acted like her, she'd date Augie her own age. She's looking for something different, something younger men can't offer yet. She's drawn to your wisdom, your worldliness, your life experience. The fact that you've been through storms and you've got the calmness that comes from serving them. So instead of chasing hip trends to fit into her world, invite her into yours. Tell her things Shadow sent no. Show her experiences she's never had. Give her perspective she's never considered. Because when you own your age unapologetically, it creates an irresistible contrast. It'ls her. I'm not competing with younger men because I'm playing a completely different game. And trust, that is exactly what she wants to feel when she's with you. Here's the thing. A lot of men think that a younger woman's interest in an older guy must be money. And look, I hear this all the time in my comments. Oh, Amelia, come on. It's just about the money. If you didn't have resources, she wouldn't look twice. But that's just not true. In fact, that mindset is one of the biggest self-sabotaging beliefs an older man can carry. Because the moment you believe only value is financial, you start giving off. I'm buying your attention energy, and that will attract the wrong kind of woman. Let me give you a quick example. Years ago, I dated a younger man. On paper, he was impressive. Worked for Tesla back when that was a huge flex worth a decent amount. Drove an expensive car? But there's the catch. Outside of that, who was still dressing up in fuzzy costumes, going to raves in the desert, and dropping who knows what kind of drugs? It was chaotic, immature, and honestly exhausting, and no amount of money medit attractive. That's why I roll my eyes when someone tries to tell me younger women only care about cash. No, they care about how you make them feel. Money might open a door, but your character is what keeps it from slamming shut. So let's say a woman teases you and says, H, you're old enough to be my dad. Now you have a choice in that moment. If you laugh awkwardly and throw out a cheesy line like, baby, I'm like fine wine. I get better with age. You might think you're being smooth, but what you're really doing is showing her you feel the need to defend yourself and defensiveness. Sean's insecurity. Insecurity. Sham attraction killer. Instead, picture this. She makes this cheeky comment, but you lean back, keep that calm, unshaken smile, and say it's not about my age, honey. The real question is whether you're mature. Inoto, be with me. Boom. Silence. No comeback. You just turned her playful jib into a moment where you're in control. Here's why that works so well. Women test men all the time. Not because they're evil, but because subconsciously they want to feel a man's emotional stability. When you don't flinch, when you don't overcompensate, when you can turn her tease into a confident reversal, you're showing her you're anchical. And that's what makes you stand out from younger guys who often either get defensive or try to prove they're older and cooler. By the way, if you've ever had a woman throw a cheeky comment about your age at you, I want to know your best comeback. Drop it in the comments. Let's see who's got the smoothest line. Remember, you're not trying to be one of the cool kids again. You've already lived through that phase. Your value isn't in how trendy you are. It's in the depth, standards, and experiences you've built. And the moment you stop trying to look young, you actually become far more attractive. Now, this one is a big deal. One of the most magnetic qualities older men have, when they truly lean into it, is that they know how to handle women. And no, I didn't just mean buying flowers or holding the door open. I mean knowing how to navigate a woman's emotions without losing your balance. See, younger guys, bless them, are often still figuring women out. They take things personally. They get flustery during mood swings. They assume a bad day means she's not into them anymore. But an older man has been through enough storms to know when a woman's just having an emotional moment and when that's actually about him. He can ride through wave instead of getting swallowed by it. Let's be real. Most older men have been through at least one intense relationship, maybe even a divorce. Some have dealt with the emotional roller coaster of a partner going through stress, grief, or even mental health struggles. And here's the difference. Amen, who's been through that and come out the other side, has a level of calm confidence that's almost impossible to fake. You don't get rattled over little things. You've learned when to talk, when to listen, and when to just put your arm around her and let the moment pass. In my coaching, I see this all the time. Men who've been through heartbreaker therapy often come back into dating with crystal clarity. They're no longer guessing what they want. They know they've done the self-reflection. They've read the books, had uncomfortable conversations, maybe even hired someone like me to challenge their patterns. And that's incredibly attractive to women because when you outcone yourself, you can handle her without making it all about your ego. Now, don't get me wrong. Older men aren't just endlessly tolerant of bad behavior. Most have zero interest in dating a drama queen. But here's the beauty. You can tell the difference between a woman having a human moment and a woman being toxic. And when you dome it a quality woman, you have that patience to work through the bumps without panicking or bolting at that sign of conflict. And here's a fun fact that might surprise you. Lower testosterone levels as men age can actually work in your favor when it comes to emotional patience. That doesn't mean you're not masculine. It means you're less reactive, less quick to anger, and more capable of staying calm in heated moments. In other words, you're not bristling at every disagreement. You're thinking it through. And trust me, that emotional compute is a huge turn-in for her. Women, tell me in the comments what's unemotional. Situation with a woman that younger you would have messed up, but present you handled like a pro. Your story might just help another guy here. And speaking of handling emotions like a pro, that leads us straight into their fourth thing younger women find deeply attractive about older men. Your attitude toward commitment. And spoiler alert, it's probably not what you think now. This is where older men start to stand out. And before you roll your eyes thinking, but Amelia, I'm not looking to get married again, hear me out. Because when I say commitment, I'm not necessarily talking about a diamond ring and wedding vows. I'm talking a booth ability to choose one woman and actually focus on her without keeping a backup roster. See, a lot of younger men, in no shade here, are still in in the field phase. There's wiping, texting, DMing multiple women, and keeping their options open because they are still figuring out who they arranged what they want. And that's perfectly fine for them. But for a woman in her 30s or 40s who's already been through those same games, she's not looking tobe, one of many. She wants to feel chastened. She wants to know she's worth your full attention. And that's where AO as an older man have the edge. Most older men I talk to, especially to Psy over 45, say the same thing. I didn't have the emotional capacity for more than one woman at a time.
But because
they're whipped, but because they value their peace.
That
Juggling multiple women is exhausting, expensive, and frankly, not worth the drama. So, when you meet a woman you're interested in, you can boyfriend and say, look, if you're seeing other guys, that's your choice, but I'm not okay with that. I know what I want, and I'd rather focus on one person at a time. You're not begging. You're not chasing. You're simply setting a standard. And that confidence is incredibly sexy. Here's the secret reason this works so well. Sends a subconscious message ethic. You're secure enough to choose and secure enough to walk away if Shadow Scent meet your standard. That puts you in the position of power, not because you're playing games, but because you have clarity, and clarity is magnetic. Quick challenge for Thecaments. What's one standard you've set in dating that completely changed the way women treated you? I want to see your answers because when you enforce your standards, your entire dating life shifts. Now, speaking of standards, there's an author area where older men almost always have an advantage. It's a little more personal, a little more intimate. Andy's, it's about the bedroom. So, let's talk about it. Let's get real for Ezekiel ND. One of the biggest advantages older men have, and one of the worst kept secrets among women, is that you're often far more experienced in the bedroom. And I didn't just mean in terms of skill, I meant in terms of mindset. See, a younger guy often comes into intimacy with something to prove. He's focused on his performance, his stamina, and weather-headed good. But an older man, he's already been there, done that, and bought that shirt. He knows the goal isn't just to finish, it's to connect. And that makes all the difference. A lot of older men are less ego-driven about sex, and women love that. If something needs to be talked about, you'll talk about it. If she wants to try something new, y'all won't act shocked or insecure. In fact, many older men are more open-toined, reducing new experiences, toys, techniques, playful scenarios by Kosu. Understand that keeping things sexing is about both of you, not just you. Now, I get it. Some older men worry about things not working perfectly every time. And yes, physical changes are real, but here's the truth. Women will never tell you directly. We'd much rather be with a man who occasionally lends a little assist, a pill, some planning, a slower pace than be with Eamon who's so obsessed with proving himself that he forgets about us. And by the way, with modern medicine, that problem can be solved in under an hour. Because here's what younger men often miss. A woman's satisfaction is just as mental as it is physical. And older men understand how to create that mental buildup. Teasing the anticipation, the conversation long before anything physical even happens. That means when the moment comes, it's not just sex, it's an experience. Ask most women, and they'll tell you. Older men tend to be more unselfish in bed. You take the tomato, make sure she is taken care of before you, focus on yourself. You can hold back, pace yourself, and keep the connection alive longer. And that's not just skill. That's discipline. That's why many women will quietly admit their most memorable lovers were older. Here's one for the guys, without getting graphic. What's one thing you do differently now in the bedroom compared when you were younger that's mad women respond better? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This could turn into aerial masterclass for the younger men watching. But there's one more thing you have that younger men simply can't match. And it's something evolution itself has stacked in your favor. It's not just about sex. It's a boutre sauce, stability, and the stage off life you're in. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack next. Here's something that might surprise you. When it comes to attraction, biology itself has tilted the scales in your favor, an older man. Why? Because in nature and in human psychology, women are wired tobe, drawn to men who can provide stability, security, and leadership. And be the time you've reached your 40s, 50s, or beyond. You've had the time to build those things in a way most younger men simply haven't yet. When I say sources, I don't just mean money. You on the whole package. You're reliable, you're self-reliant. You don't have 3 roommates eating your food out off the fridge. You have your own place not just a mattress on the floor. You have a career you've built over time. Or at the very least, you're not scrambling to find yourself anymore. That presence, that sense of stability, is unbelievably appealing to women, especially those who have already dealt with unstable relationships in the past. I see this all the time. Around the age of 45, a lot of men hit a turning point. The light bulb goes on. You realize life find all about climbing the corporate ladder, chasing every promotion, or relentlessly stacking your bank account just for the sake of it. You start valuing time, quality, experiences, travel, connection over just grinding yourself into the ground. And you know what? That's when many men become their most attractive selves. Women in their 30s and 40s are often going through Stoicism awakening. They've had their careers, their heartbreaks, maybe their kids, and they're ready for a relationship. That adds peace and joy, not chaos. So, when they meet an older man who's already living in that headspace, it's like puzzle pieces clicking together. She doesn't have to drag you out of the club at 3 a.m. She doesn't think to beg you to think long term. You're already there. And you're renovating her into that life. Think of booty. James Bond, Sean Connery, George Clooney, all men who've aged into their confidence instead of running from it. Salt and pepper hair. A sharp suit that I know exactly who I am swagger. It's intoxicating. You don't have to act confident when you've built it over decades of experience. You just walk into a room and people feel it. So here's my challenge to you. Eat well, stay fit, dress like a man who respects himself, keep your mind sharp. Because when you combine your life experience with a body and mindset that says, I'm still in my prime, you'll have younger women and plenty of women you're agitating notice without you even having tokus. Gentlemen, your age is not a limitation. It's an advantage. You've earned every scar, every lesson, every bit of wisdom you carry. Own it, live it. Because there are so many women out there who are actively looking for exactly what you bring to the table. And when you step into that role unapologically, you won't just attract them, you'll keep them. And in my next video, I'm going to Sharith one mindset shift. Older men Makathot instantly separates them from every winger guy in the room. And why? It's the fastest way to spark attraction with it even touching her. So, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you there.